Hello, my name is Melissa, and this is my first kind of jewelry reveal video. I've watched a lot of these, and they're very fun, so I decided to do one of my own. I've probably done, opened 20 or 30 of these bags and jars and boxes, but I've never taped it until now. Wow, taped, that makes me sound really old, but anyway, I went into a Goodwill about a week ago actually, and there were 6 of these bags. I did end up getting 3 of them. I've opened one of them already. The reason I got this particular bag was I saw this chain right here. It's very thin, you can see, and I'm certain this is gold. I've already been poking and prodding and peeking at this, and I was able to read the tag through this, so I know that there is gold in here. The other bag that I opened had quite a bit of silver and a little bit of gold in it as well, so I know these haven't been too picked through, so I know there's at least a couple of good things in here. So yeah, let's take a look and see what we can find in here. I hadn't actually done a jewelry bag or a jar for quite a while. But when I was going into this Goodwill, I was thinking I shouldn't even bother looking. They probably don't have anything good. Okay, so it's a little bent up, but it's not bad. But this is definitely gold. It's very light, but that is definitely gold. Let me grab my loupe, take a look-see. Yeah, and it is marked 14K Italy. Probably can't quite make it out on the phone camera there. But so I know that, I mean, that, that lets me know this isn't picked through. And that's what you're really looking for with these jars and bags. Because, sometimes you'll get them and see them and they'll just have a lot of like plastic beads, and you know that it's been picked through and you're not really going to find any treasure in there. I mean, the beads and stuff have their own value, but we're all looking for something, a little more interesting. This is pretty. I don't think this is gold, but this is a pretty bracelet. Huh. I don't see any marks on that. I thought it might be silver over gold. But it seems to be a pretty decent quality, and it does have a little safety latch. I might have to take a closer look at that and see if there are any actual marks on that. It's pretty though. Okay, and mostly you're not going to find silver and gold. Mostly it's just going to be costume stuff. Some of that has good value as well. I do see a lot of this like 70s and 80s enamel stuff. And this, I mean, this is looks pretty homemade. Looks pretty crafted, but okay, so that's just a cute little bracelet. Looks like we have a pair of earrings right here. Another earring. I'll take closer looks at these, and I will test anything that's marked or suspect. Oof. I always like these. They're not particularly valuable, but I really do appreciate the craft. I've made a few of these myself, so I do really like a woven loomed bead work. See, here we have a little pin, a little sewing implements pin. That's cute. The cloisonne, I don't know how you say it, cloisonne, but that's pretty. Here is a small bracelet. That might be silver, possibly. It does have that look. It could be plated, so I might have to test this and see. Okay, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of tangles. I don't think you're gonna want to watch me do the whole thing. Lots of single earrings. Like this guy, I actually got another of him in the other bag. So sometimes if you buy bags at the same place, you can actually match up these pairs of earrings. Unfortunately, the other one is missing an arm, so it's not really a complete set. Oh, and I love when they clip them together and keep them together. This is Weiss. That's a, you know, a nice costume brand. That's supposed to be so loose. Anyway. Stretch bracelet. And I don't know, these might be silver or something. I'll double check them later. I mean, it's a nice pair regardless. Some plastic heart pins. Stretch bracelet. I thought there was another gold chain in here somewhere. I could have sworn I saw. Well, and these little ones, you always want to check these little ones. I mean, most of them won't be gold, but sometimes they will, or silver. Now this I think was silver. Let me check and see if I can untangle this. Definitely has the look of silver about it. Oh. Oh yeah, there we go. There's a little mark on there. I should actually be watching what's on the camera, but anyway, I believe that's silver. I will definitely test it though, as always. I don't think that would be gold. This is a little costume chain, but it's not a bad. Oh, here we go. Here is what I was looking for. Which I don't think this heart on here is gold or anything like that. Let's see, is it full? Nope, empty. Little schmutz inside. Yes, your hands do get quite dirty going through these bags, but I'm fairly certain this. Well, the clasp is definitely 14 karat gold, and it has significant weight, but I don't think this is not gold. But this chain, this is a very nice rope chain. It looks to be about, yeah, that looks like 18 inches. I can always tell it's 18 inches because my hand span from my pinky to my thumb is 9 inches. So, okay, so that's a nice piece of gold right there. That more than pays for the bag. This bag was $61.99, so it was not cheap. It was not a cheap bag, and like I said, there were 6 of them. I got 2. I opened one, and it had good stuff, so I went back and I got another. This looked like it might be silver. But I don't know. When I look at the clasp, it doesn't look so good. Unless that's been replaced. It may be that part had been replaced and it isn't silver, because this definitely has the look and feel of silver. So I will definitely have to test that, because this little tab is definitely not silver. I can tell you by looking at it. Not sure about the clasp. It doesn't look great, but I'm going to test this just to be sure. Little things on cards, you know. It makes it nice and easy to sell when they have a card or a tag. It makes it easier to identify. So lots of little costume things. Oh, okay. Now these are saying they are sterling silver. Let's see. I don't know if what is on here is the actual thing that went with this. I don't know. It's possible that it's sterling with gold. I'll have to research this more. I'm not seeing a mark on it. Okay, well, we'll see. Maybe that's sterling. That's saying it's sterling. I'm not so sure. And these don't even match each other. They have a very 70s or 80s looking card that they're on. Okay, big puffy heart. Stretch bracelet. Another stretch bracelet. Large hoop earring. Let's see. This is definitely not real turquoise. Probably like dyed howlite or something similar. But it's pretty. Another pair of clip earrings, which I don't wear clip earrings. I don't like them very much. They tend to hurt my ears. These look like they are Crown Trifari, which is another popular costume brand. I think Trifari might have made some fine jewelry. I'm not 100% sure about that. But mostly what they're known for is this type of costume jewelry. And definitely not gold, but a charm bracelet with, okay, this looks like a faith-based thing. Huh. I'm not sure of the symbology of some of these. They have little Roman numerals next to them. It looks like a knight who slaughtered someone, and there's little Bibles. There's two little Bibles, which are both number IX, that's 9. That's number 7. I have no idea what these all mean. I'm going to have to research this. That's like a horse or a donkey. Oh, okay. Interesting. There is a pin. I don't see a maker on it. Lots of tangles. Maybe some of these things are silver. I don't know. We'll see. That's a pretty pendant. I don't think it's, silver or gold or anything. It's very pretty though. Yeah, I don't think you want to watch me untangle all this stuff. Usually what I do with these is I will untangle everything. I will lay everything out on my counter and take a picture of everything that came in a bag. And that way it's easier for me to keep track of what came in each parcel. This looks like it would be silver though. Yeah, this definitely looks like silver. It's not marked though. But it has that look. I'll test it. That's an interesting, handmade piece. It's just a single earring though, so unless I find the other one, not much I can do with it. Here's a nice little pair of clip earrings. A little schmutzy. Now this is a pretty earring, and I know I have the other one that came in that other bag. And it's the same one. I didn't see a brand. I think it just has a patent number on it. So I can actually look up that patent number. Oh, no, wait. It does have a name. And that explains why they're so cute. This is Miriam Haskell. You can kind of see around that. So that is also another well-known costume brand. And this is actually glass, not plastic. Yeah, so I do have the other one of these. I'll have to pair those up later. Lots of tangles. Again, I don't think you really want to watch me untangle this. But I've already found silver. I've already found gold. That's just costume, but it's a little ring. See, and this pin. Now you want to watch on these pins because sometimes these will contain silver or gold. Regis University Nursing. That one's missing the back. It might be silver. I'm not sure. But these commemorative pins, sometimes you will find silver or gold. I found quite a few of those that are gold. Lindenwald. Now, I don't believe this is actual like gold or diamonds or anything. I found a pair of earrings similar to this in the other bag that kind of match this. So I think this is probably either just costume or gold over silver. I will check that out a little more. Universal thread. Okay, again, it's nice when they come on a card, but usually don't find, you know, the more expensive or real pieces on cards. Usually it's just going to be, you know, little costume pieces like this you'll find on a card. I guess they were probably gotten as a gift and never received. And there's another one where I believe I have the match in the other bag. So if you see multiple bags, sometimes it's good to buy them all at once. This looks probably silver plated. Looks a little too thick and heavy to be silver. I was hoping this would be gold, but I do not think it is. That would be a lot of gold. So, no, this is just costume. It's a long, thick chain, though. I like these. They're not particularly valuable, but I see these fairly often, and they're just really pretty and cool, and they have this kind of 3D effect of the glass inside, so that's always fun to find. Oh, is this the same fish, or is that got tangled back up? Oh, no, I have a pair of these. Okay. Huh. This is quite tangled, but it does look like it has some kind of mark on it. Okay, so this is gold filled, which is, you know, okay, not as good as gold. This will look nice once I get it untangled from everything. Oh, there's a pair. It's always nice to have them clipped together like that. All right, so this is a gold-filled strand with, what do we have? 5 strands. So yeah, that's a nice little piece, though. Okay, so that's not bad. Let's see if I can tell you that's definitely not gold. I'm just telling you what's not gold. Oof. Okay, again, you probably don't want to watch me untangle everything, so I will probably sort this all out and then lay it out and show you what it all looks like laid out. I mean, if you happen to see anything interesting in here you think I'm missing, please let me know. But I think the lesson from this is, if you can see 1 or 2 good pieces in the jar or the bag, it's usually a good indication that it is unsorted, and that is what you're looking for. And don't forget to check all the small bits and pieces, because sometimes you can find gold or silver, even earring backs, or, you know, those award pins, things like that. This is KA1772. And see, like this is silver. This is silver with gold. Which is, I find a lot of silver with gold on top jewelry. I'm not a big fan of it. I prefer either solid gold or solid gold alloy or silver. I don't really like things that have a finish. That might be silver. It's rough looking. That is marked. That is marked. So I think that just needs maybe to be tested or polished. Yeah. Okay, so that's another chunk of silver. And don't overlook things because they're not silver or gold. For example, those Miriam Haskell earrings. That's a well-known designer. You know, this is not silver or gold, but it definitely has value regardless. And even things that don't necessarily have a brand name, if it's well designed and well made, it can have value as well. And here's a pair. Let's see. So I don't know. Yeah. And look how dirty my hands have already gotten just going through this for a few minutes. And here's another thing, beware of these. Sometimes you can find these in silver and gold, usually they're not. This one is a Monet, so this is a brand name. So that's always nice, but you can find it in places that it's unmarked or you don't expect it to find. That's why it's good to test things, even if you just kind of suspect they are silver or gold. Here's another pair. So I am finding good pairs of earrings. Yeah, so let me go ahead and untangle some of this, and then I'll come back later and kind of show you what else I found. Okay, so I have untangled and laid out everything that came in that bag. So you can take a little closer look at this. Is how much jewelry I got for about $62. I have not completed testing some of these. I have more or less just laid them out by type, and I'm going to be bringing a few of them over to the table to take a closer look at. One thing I noticed in this lot is there were a lot of these kind of art glass bead earrings that were all similarly paired up with the same kind of ear wire. Generally, when you see something like this is probably someone who donated things that they had made. They were maybe making them for craft fairs or selling them or just making them as a hobby and donated a lot of them at once. So, you know, I ended up with like 18 pairs of these. Most of these have, you know, very pretty glass beads. So I'll probably end up selling these at the antique mall for a couple of dollars each. But because there are 18 of them, even if I only make $1 or $2 on each, that's still making back a good chunk of the amount, the $62 that I paid for the jewelry jar. All right, so these are the earrings that I was able to pair up that I got in the bag, the other ones, other than those beaded ones. Yeah, I'm not sure about these. They look like they are probably rhodium plated silver, but I was not able to find a mark on them. But I know you get a lot of that coming out of Thailand. So I'm going to look at these more and test them. They do seem to be pretty good quality. If I was to guess, I would say they're probably silver with a rhodium plating and CZs. So I'm going to test those and I'll let you know what those come out to be. For the most part, like these look like nice stone earrings. I didn't find anything too fabulous. There were these few branded pieces. These Weiss ones are nice. They're pretty nice. These are Monet. I think they're silver plated. I don't think they're solid silver. I didn't see any silver markings on them, but they definitely have a silver tarnish to them. These were the Crown Trifari pair, so that's another nice little find. Then we have a lot of these little fashion earrings that are still on cards. A lot of these will probably end up at the antique mall. This says sterling silver. I don't know if these earrings even really belong to this card that I found them on or not. I didn't see any markings on them. I may test them. They aren't really giving me silver vibes, but I'll test them and let y'all know what these end up being. But yeah, so here, you know, here's another, you know, lot of earrings. Even if I sell some of these pretty cheaply, I'm still getting up to that $62 pretty easily. All right, so here we have rings and pins that came from that bag. I think you've seen a few of these before, like this one. You can definitely see this was a costume ring, and what had a gold finish is worn away to the copper. And this is just a plain copper band. It looks like it had some love. It looks like it was worn quite a bit. This, I believe, is a costume band. There is a little finish wear. And this is nice. It's a smaller ring, but it is marked 925, and it does look like silver. I would guess those are amethyst in it. I'm not 100% sure. I may test them to see what they look like on the Presidium, but we'll see. Okay, pin wise, I think you've seen this. There's a costume pin. There's this little cross. I'm not sure where that's from. I Googled the word on it, which is Medugorje, which is a village in Bosnia. So I'm not sure if that is a tourist item from there or if that word has some other meaning. This is just a little costume brooch. This is a tie clip, actually. It's labeled Parkway. I don't really know anything about the brand. It's not super high quality. It's a very 70s looking coat of arms. Now this pin is not marked. This may be gold. I am not sure. Looking at the pin and the solder, it all looks gold. So I'm going to have to test this one and see if this is a little bit of gold. It does have a little red stone in there that looks like a ruby. I may have to test that one too. Okay, so this is a little Alaska State pin, a little shoe. I mean, this one has nothing. Sometimes it's worth looking at the backs of these pins to see if you can find something that's maybe a Disney pin or something like that that'll have a little more value. There's that nursing pin again. Here's this little guy. These were very popular when I was a kid. These little kind of velvet fuzzy little bears. This one does have a mark. It is Russ. That was a popular brand, sold at places like Hallmark stores way back in the 80s. Christmas pin, and here's that plastic pin again, and it is marked Hallmark, so you know, you may find someone who is looking for this specific pin. And this one also is marked 1987. Yes, 1987 Hallmark. So I mean, these may have value, especially for people who had these. So these I'll probably end up listing on eBay for a couple of dollars. They're not particularly valuable, but it's always nice to pair them with someone who had this one as a kid and remembers it fondly and can find it on eBay and buy it. So yeah, just a few pins and rings. Usually I don't find very many rings in these. Pins, it can vary. Sometimes I'll find a lot and sometimes I'll just find a few like this. All right, so this is bracelets part 1 from the bag. Many stretch bracelets. It's common to find these. Sometimes they will have glass beads, plastic beads, or stone beads. So these are something, again, I would probably sell at the antique market for, you know, $1 or $2 each, something like that. And, you know, like any bag, I tend to find a lot of these. I have noticed that some of these elastics hold better than others. Personally, I think ones that have this kind of elastic with nylon along the outside tend to hold up a little better than some of the, you know, newer, clearer plastics like this, that they start to yellow when they get old and they start to stretch out and have to be restrung. This one's not bad. It looks like it has some nice blue stones and some lava stone. Here's a little one with that's called Dalmatian Jasper, when it's that light color with the black dots, just like the dogs. So lots of stretch bracelets of varying types. And here's that beaded bracelet. That's probably one I'll hold on to. I just really like these, so I usually keep them when I come across them. I'm not sure what brand this is. It has a mark with an A and a backwards A next to each other, so I'm not familiar with it. It looks like a newer, like, department store type brand. This type of very petite jewelry is pretty popular right now. This is just a costume piece. It is really pretty though. Looks like it has real stone beads set in this kind of metal. I don't see any marks for the maker or the type of metal. It's heavier. I believe it's just pot metal, but it is very pretty. Now this, I thought when I saw this, this might be silver or white gold or something, but no, this is actually bronze, and it's marked bronze, which is a little unusual. It's a nice costume tennis bracelet though, and it has like this double safety clasp. It looks very well made. That's why I thought it might be silver or something. But no, that's bronze, but it is a nice costume piece. And here's that kind of religious piece again. It confuses me a little because these all have numbers. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 And then 99. This does have a maker's mark. This is Coro, which is an older costume brand who did a lot of this type of jewelry. Here's a cute Sanrio Hello Kitty bracelet with 2 glitter charms on it that's kind of cute. I'll probably sell that type of thing online because that's something, you know, someone can look for by the brand name. Then there was this little baggie here, which has 2 little, I think, silver tone. I don't think these are actually silver. I did not, well, let's see. No, that's not a mark. That's just a little bit of something, I don't know, a little imperfection in the metal. So I don't think these are silver. I think they're just like silver plated. They're cute little bracelets though. Okay, let's see what other bracelets I had in. Alright, so these are the rest of the bracelets and a few of loose pendants that I found in the lot. This is just a little steel bracelet with lots of little beads on it, multi-strand thing. This is that Monet bangle. I think you've seen this before. This, I don't think this is silver, but this is a really nice little piece of verticrosite in there. I may steal that out and use it in some of my own jewelry. I do make silver jewelry on my own, but I like that stone. Some leather corded. These actually look like they're in pretty good shape. A lot of times you'll get these in jewelry bags and they'll just be kind of dirty and gross and you'll want to throw them away. But these look okay. This guy. This is a pretty worn bangle. Here's a set of aluminum bangles. With these, I will usually just bundle like 5 or 6 of these and then put them at the mall for $1 or $2. Here's this guy. This guy is going into the test pile. I'm not sure if this is actually silver. It's not marked. It does kind of have that look. I'm kind of interested in what these metals and stones might be. So I'll look at that one a little more. This is the one that was marked 925. So this is gold over silver, but I will of course test that as well. This one I'm not sure about. I don't think it's gold. I doubt it's silver. I was not able to find a mark on it. It is a very nicely made costume piece though. Here is a Italian charm bracelet. These were popular, I think, probably like in the early 2000s, I would say. Now with these, sometimes you want to watch because sometimes these little gold parts on them will be actual gold. Each of these will, well, not each of them, but a lot of them will have a mark, and usually if it's gold, it will tell you. So I'll have to take a closer look at this. This is a really cute one, though. It has a lot of little fun charms on it. I'm not sure what I'll do with this, if I will try and put this up online, or if I will put it at the mall. It's really cute, though. Okay, and this is a memory wire bracelet. You'll see these a lot where they're just kind of a spiral of wire with different beads on them. I think you've seen these before. Big puffy heart. This one, which is marked silver, so that's going in the test pile. The art glass. This was on the gold chain. I took it off. I'll probably put this on a costume gold chain and pair that up to sell. And there's also this that I found in there. This is a older, probably like 60s, 70s, 80s type of a pendant, and it does have some pictures in it. I actually really love when I find old pictures and lockets. It's kind of sad that, you know, whoever owned this gave it away, or it was given away after they were deceased or something. But it's always kind of fun to see the people, you know, that own this, or the people that, you know, were related to the people that owned it. So that's a cute locket. I'm not sure what I'll do with that one yet. Alright, so these are some of the beaded and chunkier necklaces that I got in that lot. This looks like cut crystal glass and pieces of shells. It is, looks like it's hand knotted in between. It's not bad. These are just wood beads. Alright, so this has a big porcelain heart and kind of heavier beads on a cord, and it's adjustable, so that's okay. It's not my cup of tea, but that's a nice piece. I'll I'll probably put it online. This has some pretty art glass beads mixed in with, I don't know, I think some of these are plastic beads. So that looks very like home crafted. And again, this looks like one that was probably homemade. You can see it was just kind of tied at the ends. And we have an assortment of beads on here in a somewhat random type of pattern. Now this one has freshwater pearls. It looks like it does have some kind of a mark on one of these little discs. Oh, I know that mark. That looks like a Silpata mark, who usually does silver. I was going to test these to see if they were silver. I still will, but I'm guessing because that's Silpata that these are little silver links, and these little hanging discs are probably silver. So that's not bad. And I did the tooth test. I know people think that's gross, or you can kind of rub them together, but you can get a sense of the texture. You can also take a very close look at them with like a microscope or a very strong lens, and sometimes you can see the surface of the pearl as well. So that's not bad. Here is a large kind of costume statement necklace, as they call it. It's not branded. It reminds me of maybe a Chico style or something like that. So that is something, I don't know if I'll sell that online or at the antique mall, but yeah, that's okay. That's something I would probably just sell for a few bucks though. Okay, and here is I don't know what kind of glass that is. These are definitely glass beads, big chunky glass beads on a cord. And it looks like, if I had to guess at the stone, I would probably say aventurine, which, you know, looks like jade but isn't. Yeah, so that's a little necklace here. And it looks like these are actually plastic and not stone, these beads here. That is one long strand of them. Okay. And these are the kind of Mardi Gras style beads you see a lot, where the beads are not actually, you know, beaded on, but they are like molded onto the string and separated. So you'll see these a lot. Sometimes you'll see jars and it's just full of these. Those have very little value. I'll usually either redonate those or maybe put them in a craft set. Now this is just a regular kind of costume piece. We have these, I don't know if that's stone or, you know, artificial stone, and then wood. The thing that surprised me about this was the brand. It says Monet on there, and this does not scream Monet. When I think Monet, I usually think of, you know, gold or silver kind of chunky jewelry, or, you know, big wide necklaces, things like that. And I don't usually think of a more natural design like this. So this is kind of interesting. I'll have to see if I can find some comparable Monet pieces like this online. Here is another of these. This is what caused all the tangles, are ones like this where you have them spaced out, where they're on a chain, they're spaced out, there's multiple strands. So this really got twisted in things. This is unbranded, but this is another costume piece, you know, plastic, and I don't know, those little ones might be glass. Okay, and here, I think you saw this one before. This is the kind of howlite, you know, faux turquoise. So it's not a bad piece though. It's all right. I would just, you know, don't sell this as turquoise. Oh, and here is another troublemaker. And what we have here is actually coconut shell that's dyed. These round ones are wood. You can tell by the grain in them. But these little discs, these are actually coconut shell. Yeah, this was one of the main foes when it came to untangling that wad of jewelry. So I'm going to be sure not to tangle that back up. All right, so here's the next set of necklace stuff. Here's a little stretchy choker. This is just plastic, but it's cute. And here's that cloisonne kind of donut pendant on a nice satiny cord. I kind of like that. I don't know if I'll keep it or not, but I kind of like it. And this chain, I'm not sure what's going on with this chain. It's too short to go over my head, but it has no clasp. So I don't know if maybe this was a part of something, maybe it hung off of something, or was some part of another necklace or some other piece of jewelry, or I'm not sure, but the chain looks cool, but I don't know what to do with it. This looks like copper, might just be copper coated. And I don't see a clasp on this one either. Okay, so I'm not sure what this one is for. Interesting. And here's one of these little tile pieces. These are often like handcrafted, you know, sold at fairs and whatnot, where people take a picture of something and put it behind a glass or plastic square and kind of mold it together with something and make different pictures. Yeah, this one has a little schmutz on it. Yeah, it's not a regular ball chain, so that's cute. Now this one, this is not marked, but I think this might be silver. So I'm going to test this piece. It looks very handmade, very kind of, you know, wrought and bent. So I'm gonna have to test this one. It's kind of cool though. I like the little swirl and design to it. So I'll put that in the test pile. And this is just chain. This is just, this may have been like off of a purse, or it may have been part of a necklace. It doesn't have any clasp on it. So that's probably something that will go in a craft box. And this is just a little silver tone chain also. Yeah, this will come in handy if I have a pendant or something I want to put on it and, you know, pair it up with something else I find. And likewise, this looks brand new. This is just a cord with tips. Sometimes you'll want to see if these have sterling silver. Sometimes you'll get them with silver on them. This one is not, but again, this is something that I can put a pendant on to sell. This is just plastic and black thread. It's just a cute little necklace. Yeah, and this, unfortunately, it looks like this one was broken. Yeah, it looks like it's missing a couple little leaves down here. So yeah, this will probably go in the craft jar as well. This looks like glass, and it's on a snake chain, so that's just a little costume piece. And this one actually looks pretty nice. I don't think it's silver or anything like that. It is really pretty. It reminds me a little of the 1928 series of jewelry, but yeah, that's a pretty little costume piece. I don't know if that star symbol means anything, if that is maybe a maker's mark. I might have to look into that a little more, but that is a pretty necklace. All right, so this is the last set of necklaces from that bag. Okay, so this is just a costume piece. It has nice little rhinestones. It's only marked China. I don't see any 925 or anything to indicate that this would be silver or anything else. It is a cute little piece though, so that's probably one I'll put on a card and sell at the antique mall. Here is a necklace where you have a series of little charms on a chain. Again, this is just a costume piece. Here's a similar one, which, you know, has mom and a few other little charms hanging together. Again, this is a costume piece. Then there's this little snake chain. I think this is probably steel, and it has a little charm that says run, a little like bead charm on it. So that's cute. Here is the silver piece. So this is marked 925. It had some Greek letters, some very tiny Greek letters, too small for the camera on it. So I believe this is probably made in Greece, or from a Greek maker at least. Yeah, this is marked. I will test it. I'm sure this will show up as silver though. Okay, and here is that costume chain I think you saw before. This is fairly heavy, definitely not gold, plated, long. So that's something, I don't know if I'll sell that online or at the antique mall. I'll have to see. This is the gold piece. This is the one, it does have a mark of 14 karat on it. It's very lightweight. It is about 18 inches, so I will probably keep this and use it for myself. The same with this one. This has a very nice big old ring clasp, you can see, and that is marked 14 karat on the clasp. I'm fairly certain the chain is original to the clasp, clasp, or at least also 14 karat gold. I will test both parts of it. But again, that's about an 18-inch one. So that means I'll probably keep it for myself. Okay, so this is just another costume chain. I don't know if I will sell this on its own or maybe pair it with a pendant of some type. I'll probably sell it on its own since it's a little thicker. All right, this is a little gold-filled little locket, or not locket, little pendant, but it is marked as gold fill. What is it, 12, 20? So yeah, that's one I'll probably put on a card and sell at the antique mall. I might sell that online, I don't know yet. Okay, so these two are just silver tone chains. They are costume and, you know, not actual silver. So I'll probably just end up hanging on to these and using them to put pendants on if I have pendants, or if I want to make a pendant that isn't fine silver, that isn't silver, that I want to put on something, I'll use these. And this guy is the one I'm still not sure about. I don't think this clasp is silver. I'm not sure about the chain. It has a decent weight to it, so I'm going to put that in the testing pile. And this is the gold fill. So this is a pretty nice piece. I'll probably end up selling this one online, not sure. I'll have to look and see what if I can find anything about the extra marks on this and see if there's any branding on this. So now this chain, this is silver. I don't know if this came with this kind of tone to it, or if this is just natural you know, darkness that silver tends to get. I think that's about a 16-inch. So what I will probably do with this, I will probably use it on one of my silver pieces, either one I make or one I find in one of these lots, and I will pair this with a silver piece to sell. Okay, so this is, I think this is just a little probably gold fill or something. It is unmarked except for the name Marcy. So this belonged probably to a little girl named Marcy, or someone with a very slender neck. It looks like it's maybe a 14-inch, so I assume somebody probably got this when they were a child. Okay, and this was in a little baggie in the big bag. And this, I think, is silver. I'm pretty sure this is silver. I did not see a mark on it. It has what looks like silver polish inside. It definitely has the look and feel of silver. So I'll check that a little more thoroughly for a mark and probably test it as well. Okay. All right, so here is the rest of what was in that box. Mostly these are single earrings. I did find one more pair here to pair together. They're not in the best shape. Okay, that's Dusty. Hi, Dusty. Hi, Dusty. Bye, Dusty. Okay, and this was over with the earrings. This has some marks on it. I can't make most of them out. One of them says 14K, but I think this is probably plated 14K. The chain has no marks on it at all, so it's definitely not a gold chain. I'll have to look into this more. I have a pair of earrings that are the same set of this that came in the other box, but I'll look into that a little more and see if I should even bother testing that, or if that's anything. For the most part, these are single earrings. So what I will do with these is a lot of these will go in the craft box. Some of them, if they have something I really like on them, I might take parts out and use, or if they're precious metal, they might go with, you know, scrap metal. I do like this little square tiger eye on this old cufflink. I may just keep this cufflink to see if, you know, it has value on its own. I don't think it's gold or anything, but I do like it. And this is a nice little clip-on earring that has a little tiny scrimshaw scene in it. So that's something I would probably just either hang on to, or maybe at some point remove that scrimshaw and use it in some other piece. That's kind of fun, that string. That string, it looks like it's a little messed up though, with a picture of an eagle on it. These ones I believe are silver. This one was marked. These, I haven't seen marks on these, but these are all going in the test pile. If they are silver, I will, I'll probably scrap the metal. I might use the metal. I could take that leaf and use it on a piece. You know, I'll probably take out the stones, but for now I'm not going to do anything like that to these because I do still have one bag from this same store at the same time that might have mates in it. Speaking of which, these 4 pieces, including these Miriam Haskell ones, all have a mate from my first bag. So I went and I picked those out. So even though they didn't have a mate in this bag, I was able to find the mates in the other bag. Unfortunately, this guy, I think he's missing an arm. Too bad. These, I was very lucky to find these. These are a nice costume pair right there. And these might be silver. I don't know. I might have to test these or look a little harder for a mark, but I do have 2 of those as well. So it's always nice when you can match up, you know, match up earrings from 2 different bags or jars like that. But for the most part, I'm going to hang on to these until I go through the next bag and see if I can do the same with some of these others. Otherwise, I will scrap what is silver. I'll scrap most of the silver. I might take some stones out of some. If something is cute, like this earring's kind of cute, I might put that on a bail and make that, you know, put that on one of those little chains and make that into a necklace if I find something, you know, that I think is really, you know, appropriate for making into a pendant. But for the most part, a lot of these will end up in the craft bin. Wish I could find the other one of these. That guy's cute. So, okay. With these jars and boxes, there is usually detritus at the bottom. You know, it looks like this was probably part of a stretch bracelet. There might be like broken parts, but it is worth looking at because sometimes you will find something like this, which is a teeny tiny little gold earring back, but that is marked 585, which I believe is 14 karat. Yeah. So, you know, and if you were to buy these, you know, actual gold earring backs, these are not cheap. So it's worth looking through the detritus. Most of these little finding and things, they'll either end up in my craft box or in the box that I'll end up selling, you know, by the pound, usually 5 pounds for like $10 or $20 of beads and things. But it is worth just taking a look at that kind of thing. So, all right, so here I am. I've done some testing on some of these. These are the pieces I wanted to take a closer look at. Basically, my conclusion is that everything from here over is not precious metals, and from here over is. Yeah, so this did not test as silver. It does have that look to it, but it's probably just plated. Same with these. I don't know what the stones are, probably CZ, but that and this are not. This is not. I'm still not 100% sure what metal this might be. It could just be brass, but it does not test as gold. And some of these I did an acid test. Some of them don't need an acid test. Like this, it's magnetic, so that is just silver plated, as is this guy. Even though this card says sterling silver, these are definitely not silver. There are no marks on them. I did scratch test them to see. And when I say scratch test, that means I will rub a little bit against the stone and then test what I rub on the stone. You don't want to apply acid directly to the jewelry. So yeah, I'm not sure if these even actually belong to this card and this designer or not. So I may look up this designer and see if I can find these earrings on their site. This, I'm not sure what this is. It's not gold. It has a small AA symbol on the back. Again, I'm thinking this is probably some sort of department store brand. Now, I was able to find a little bit more about these. I found their website, and it looks like most of their stuff is like gold electroplate. That's probably why this has a 14K on it. it is very hard to make out any of the markings on this, probably because of the plating, but I was able to make out the 14K, and it looks like there's GE or HGE or something after that. So this is 14 karat plated with a CZ. Okay, so let's look at ones that had more positive results. This is marked silver and tests as such. This is marked silver and did test as such. So did this. I looked up the Greek characters I saw on this, and it seems they have to do with the word chrysalis or chrysalitis or something to do with butterflies. So that is some kind of Greek brand, and this does test as silver, and this is a decent size piece. Now this piece, this is silver. I was also able to find the maker's mark. It's a brand called Hippolyta, and these are actually on their website as a pair for about $300. So I may list this as a singleton to see if someone, you know, is looking for this piece rather than just taking it apart for the silver value. If I find really nicer designer pieces, sometimes I will keep single earrings in order to, you know, try and list them. Otherwise, I would probably just take off this little charm and maybe add it to something, or, you know, use the hook for my own, you know, for restoration or something I make on my own. But because this is a named brand, I'm probably going to just keep this as a singleton. Okay, and again, these are both tests as silver. These are singles. Because these aren't particularly named brands, I may just use these pieces, you know, either melt down and take the stone out, or I may even use the little leaf and put it on a necklace or some other, you know, make it part of a piece that I make. And this guy, even though the bear is not marked, he does test as silver. Especially with a lot of handmade pieces, a lot of pieces are out there that have no marks that will be silver. Yeah, I may put him on a different chain. I would like to see him on maybe a snake chain or something a little smoother. I'll probably sell him over at the antique mall. This is also silver. Yeah, so I don't know, maybe I'll put it on that long chain or some other chain. It's a pretty rough design, so I don't know. I might scrap that. I don't know. It's okay. It's not my favorite, but somebody will like it. This also tested as silver. This, again, it looks very handmade, so a lot of craft people do not put a mark on their jewelry. So that is definitely silver, and this is Silpata silver. It is marked on the clasp, 925, and there is a Silpata mark on that tiny little tag. So that one I will probably sell online. It's a little easier to sell things with brand names online, at least I think so. Okay, so the gold. These both tested as 14 karat gold, both the chains and the clasps. So this one is very lightweight. This one, it's almost like nothing. It's so lightweight. So I actually did weigh these and calculated their melt value. So this guy only weighs 1.24 grams. They're both 18 inches long, but this weighs almost nothing. And this is, again, is why I bought the bag. I saw this in there and I knew it was gold, because I don't even think they would make like silver coated gold this thin, this fine. But at today's melt value, a 14 karat 1.24 grams would be about $78. So even if I don't include this as a piece of jewelry, if I just look at the metal value, this is more than I paid for the bag. Now this one is substantially heavy. This one is 11.19 grams, and at today's value, melt value, so gold right now is at $3,367 an ounce. This is 14 carats, so that's 14/24 gold. So that's a little over half actual gold. And that melt value would be $706.61. That is a lot of money. I may or may not end up keeping this. I really like it. I probably have a nice gold pendant that could use a thicker chain like this. But it goes to show you, even if I take this out of the equation and I only found this 1 gram of gold, that makes up for what I paid for this whole bag. That more than makes up for what I paid for the bag, excluding all the silver, the other, you know, some of the designer earrings and different pieces that were in there, or even, you know, just the mass of little beaded earrings that I can sell for $1 or $2. So it does take a lot of work to sell this stuff, but it usually only takes 1 or 2 good pieces to really pay for a bag. So anyway, so that is what I found in this bag. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anything you loved or hated. Thank you. So have a good day. Bye, all.